If a man says, thou shalt not kill, and you look on how much people God killed, then you have to go question the whole idea. You know, see, God wipe out the whole of the earth according to the Bible, kill everybody, yet still it said, thou shalt not kill. So you wonder now, who is giving that law? That law was there long before even Moses gave it, you know, so it's just that how people look on the Bible, it might reason like you can't figure out nothing in it. You have to just accept it how it is. Which now when you start to figure it out, when you start to accept it as how it is, you lose your intelligence and your perception of reason. That you start to accept irrational things and unreasonable things. And don't question it because you are taught to believe that these things is coming from God. So even no matter how irrational it is, you as a human being can't question the irrationality of the thing, which I refuse to accept that. I can't read a book and see something where don't make no sense to me. And then I want to tell me, say, I can't question it because it's coming from God, which you know, say, is not true. The book was written by men.
This is Mutabaruka. We want to present to you a wholesome kind of level of consciousness right now. So, subscribe and tell your friend them. This is Mutabaruka.
You have to pass off your faith as history. As the man said, a lot of it is not historical nor biological. And a lot of it is misinterpretation too, because a lot of people who profess it don't really know what was the political situation at the time when certain things was said or was done. The Greeks control, the Romans control. Just like Jamaica now. Britain control, America control. So the whole political situation, writing about the social order and the social condition, would have to reflect a British or an American perspective. Well, you know them say believe kill and believe cure. Knowledge is the key. As I said, next week we're going to present the devil. These things don't happen on religious programs in Jamaica. So once again, we kind of divert the program and carry going on next ribs, but opening up your mind. I will hope say your mind open, you know, and don't just narrate, you know, because it's not about fighting, it's about just looking at it as it is, without interpretations or anything. Just look at it as it is. You understand? Don't try to put your interpretation in there and try to confuse the issue. Just read it and see. Just look at it. All people need a good historical background to really understand certain things where input in history. Because if he had known, or if the ones who believe this thing in this time had known the historical happenings at the time, maybe they would look at things in a different light. Which God is it really that's supposed to be the God that we almost deal with? Is it the God, that warrior God, you know, that God who sent Moses to go wipe out people, that God who tell people must kill animals because I love the scent of the dead flesh? Or is it that compassionate God? There's three different levels of God in the Bible, you know. There's three different levels of God in the Bible if you really want to check it. There's as we say, warrior God. There's almost a God. There's a God who distance himself from the people, but him talk through the so-called prophets, you know, that the prophets almost represent him. And then there's this loving God that represented in the New Testament. You know, people always tell you, say, God not change, you know, the same God yesterday, today, and forever. But when you look on the evolution of God, or the concept of God, that is why we have a problem with that concept there. Because if you look on the presentation of God right through, you'll realize that this is a God where evolve. It evolves. And as man evolves, so God evolves. And the reason why you always will have God, because you will always have man. Because man is always searching for that entity outside himself to solve the mystery of life for him. You know, and the three different stages, levels that we see. Can we truly say that the God where Isaiah and Jeremiah did our worship was the same God that Moses did our worship? Or can we truly say that the same God where Moses did our worship manifests himself in the same New Testament idea of Christianity? Because Christianity developed a new kind of God. You know, Christianity developed a new perception of God. Because the God where them say Jesus Christ profess, it wasn't unique to that Jewish under the Roman Empire. Because if you go and travel the Eastern continents, the Eastern world, you will see that a lot of these ideas did there in Asia hundreds of years before the advent of Christianity. So the idea is not a new idea, it's just that because it is written down in a book that is used by the conquerors is able to propagandize their ideas more than the conquered. So when a big empire like Rome decided going to officially take this concept and make it become a state religion, Rome is the conqueror. So obviously it's going to be the dominant idea. And then over the years, wars have been fought to maintain that idea. Many, many wars have been fought to maintain that idea. Even to this day, there's a man by the name of George Bush who is fighting a war right now to maintain that idea. Because he himself declared that he is on a mission from God. Him, George Bush, said that. He is on a mission from God. So you know, say, there's always this concept of God that man have to dominate and to sustain certain absolute power through some, what him want to tell you, some divine intervention, which there's no intervention more than his mind that is perpetuating this consciousness, this thinking. So we are declaring now, say, we have to rethink and reevaluate this idea that we have about God. Just like a couple months ago we played this thing named Tomorrow's God. What is the perception of tomorrow's God that we shall have? Is it the perception like what we declare 6,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago? We have to come up with our understanding based upon what is given to us at this time, with information. You know, we have to search for our heritage as African people also. We can't live out that.
So true.
In order to shape this concept of God, or this idea of God in at this time, we have to take into consideration our heritage, our African heritage, our environment that we live in and now, and shape that idea out of that. That's a serious thing. We can't just keep taking from and passing down the old time religion